Hey everyone, Fallout here. So this is kind of a brief continuum of my previous video, which is an early analysis and guide to the Dawnblade in Destiny 2. If you missed that video, then go ahead and quickly check it out, then come right back, because today we're talking specifically about the skill tree based on the confirmation from Bungie that you are only able to take one path at a time on your skill tree. You can't take everything you see here at the same time. That makes a whole lot of sense, and I have to admit I am sad that I won't be able to mix and match perks on my skill tree anymore, it seems, like we were able to do in D1. I'm really hoping that Bungie will give us more paths to explore than just the 2 for each subclass, because variety is the spice of life and all that. But we can talk about that another time, so right now why don't we go ahead and take a look at both paths on the Dawnblade tree, and why don't we try and make a decision on which path might be the better one for destroying people in PvP. On the attunement of the sky, we have Risen Angel, Igniting Touch, Phoenix Dive, and Skyfire. The usefulness of Skyfire is going to depend a lot on how much damage you actually do when you land on the ground, and it might be a waste considering instead of diving down, you can just throw a sword down for a guaranteed one-hit kill in PvP anyway. Risen Angel is a perk that I'm not really that big of a fan of. I wasn't a fan of Angel of Light for the Sunsinger in D1. I think it's kind of a really bad way to make yourself an easy target for the enemy by just hovering in the air, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. Igniting Touch is probably going to be a solid pick for its ability to add burn damage to your melee ability. And although the burn damage doesn't seem like it's going to be a whole lot, any extra guaranteed damage with your melee is good damage, not to mention that you're delaying your enemy's health from regenerating when they burn. So don't think of it of a way as doing massive amounts of extra damage to your enemy's health, but definitely do think of it in a way that you're preventing them from regenerating their health and keeping them weaker for longer. Finally, Phoenix Dive is a really solid choice, and now that I think about it, it kind of pairs well with Risen Angel. If you're up in the air, hovering around, being a jerk, firing a lot of bullets at the enemy, you can use the Phoenix Dive to duck out of the air quickly and get your health back once people notice what you're doing. So for right now, I think that Phoenix Dive and Igniting Touch are probably going to be the best 2 PvP related perks on the attunement of the sky, but why don't we consider the bottom real quick and see what we have down here. First up on our unnamed path, we have Everlasting Flames. Killing an enemy with Daybreak extends the duration. This has the potential to be very good, but don't jump for joy just yet. Everlasting Flames is probably going to be one of the very first things that I test a whole bunch when the beta comes out this summer, just to see exactly how much your Daybreak gets extended by getting a kill. Firestarter is our surge equivalent from the Voidwalker in D1, which happens to be a perk I like very, very much. With Warlock Surfing completely nerfed, faster movement on the ground is definitely going to be very welcome, and so is faster reload speed. Considering this perk is going to activate just by damaging your enemies with your melee and not actually killing them, means that you're going to get this perk to activate definitely a couple times during the course of any game, which of course is a really good thing. Wildfire. Engage your enemies mid-flight. Fire weapons and throw grenades while gliding. I really want to get my hands on this perk and see how it feels to use. Being able to shoot and throw grenades while gliding sounds great, and I think it'll end up being a way more usable, more mobile alternative to a perk like Risen Angel. Finally, we have Blazing Dash, and I still feel right now that this has the potential to be one of the best perks on the entire Dawnblade tree. Basically, it could end up being a free mid-air Warlock version of the Twilight Garrison dodge from D1. Biggest thing we need to find out is how frequently you can use it. If there's a short cooldown and you can spam it a few times in the air, this is going to be a great perk. If this also turns out to be a vital part in some kind of new movement technique, like a brand new version of Warlock Surfing, for example, that we don't yet know about, that would be pretty amazing. There's a lot of ifs floating around with this perk and, with the bottom part of the Dawnblade skill tree in general. There's also the question of, will there be more paths that you can take in the future, and if so, how many? After all, the game isn't out yet and we've only been able to play very little so far. Time will tell, but for right now, I think the bottom path on the Dawnblade is going to be the deadlier pick for PvP. For the time being, I am a little bit bummed that you're only able to take one path on the skill tree, whereas compared to D1, you were able to really kind of get creative and mix and match depending on what you wanted to play with. Picking just one path with a predetermined loadout seems kind of boring. It might make for a more balanced PvP experience, but again, we're weighing that against the alternative, which is freedom of choice. Anyway, like I mentioned earlier, that's a conversation for another time. Moving forward, when the beta comes out, we can have another conversation just like this one, based on the brand new subclasses and their tree options. Alright everybody, that's it for this very short video. Thank you for watching, hope you learned something, and I will see you next time.